Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Frank here, working on the Cub Cadet articulating tractor. Today's agenda includes using my new hydraulic hose crimper, which I showed you last week, to make the actual hoses we need to connect the hydraulic circuit on the hydrostatic transmission to the steering valve and the steering cylinder. So let's get into it. All right, so I've got to run hoses from this point to, I'm going to do it the other way. All right, basically to there. So this is what I use, just a piece of fuel hose, fuel line, to measure the distance, and then I mark it so I know how long to make the hose. So I think we're going to need two hoses basically the same length. If you have the room for the hose, then it's sometimes easier to make them a little bit longer than necessary. It allows you to compensate for any changes you need to make. All right, we'll start with the first one here. At the end of the last episode, I crimped this connector on, so we're going to use that. Set the length. And this is tip to tip, so I need to allow for the fittings. The fittings are included in the length. All right, so that gets me to this point here. That doesn't work. That's black right there. I'm going to put a 90-degree fitting on here. I try to avoid 90s because these fittings are so expensive. At the Napa, they're like $22 a piece. I started looking online. I had trouble finding. I mean, I could find them, but I wasn't sure which one. They were different varieties. I wasn't sure exactly what to buy, but I do need to find a source, mail order source for these. Now these are the straight ones, like this one on here, that I also bought at Napa because the ones I mail ordered came the wrong size. These fittings are a lot less expensive. They're only $10 each, if you can believe that. Okay, that's why hydraulic hoses, are so expensive. All right, so I'm measuring to my mark, which is my termination there. And so the hose is going to be cut right there. Okay. Let me get my face mask here. Oh, the smell of burning rubber. Oh, you know, I don't think that's... All right, well, again, I got the wrong size. Now that I'm looking at it, it's 6 and 6. It's supposed to be 4 hose, 6 female. It's 6 hose. It's made for 3/8 inch hose. So it's the wrong size. Where's the other one I bought? All right, well, this one's 4. We'll do this one. See, it's got the difference between 1/4 and 3/8 inch hose. That's what I get for not looking carefully at the fitting. All right, let's crimp this one. Make sure all these fingers are in the right place. Call them fingers, I guess they're actually dies. That feels like the relief valve. Doesn't look like it's getting any smaller. Well, it looks like that crimped fine. Out. That's out. All right, I've marked the next hose length on my fuel line. All right, so on this round, I'm going to set the tighten the valve down. All right, the lights come on back here. All right, I'm going to say that's a good crimp. All right, let's check our length here. This is less critical, as we got longer length, and it's not a tight run. Let's see, to right here, so to that slash mark on the hose. And we're using just straight fittings, so that should be there. All right, so I need to cut it on the 1. Eye protection. So if you pump this too fast toward the end, you'll get the relief valve. That squeaky noise is relief valve. If you go a little more slowly, you can get more pressure. I'm waiting for this gauge. Something wrong with this gauge, because it's not coming up scale. I mean, it's still showing like 0 pounds. Just now starting to come up scale. A couple hundred pounds. It's more than a couple hundred pounds. I can, and about 500. Waiting for the light to come on back here. There. All right. All right, so that's looks like another good crimp. All right, so this machine is working better than I expected, actually, assuming these crimps are legitimate. They don't fly apart when I pressurize the system. All right, this one is going to be the full length of my template hose. Tighten down the pressure valve. So this is supposed to have a 2-stage pump so that it pumps pretty quickly to close the die. And then that's the relief valve. Yeah, there's something wrong with this pressure gauge because it's not showing any pressure when it should. Like it's just now starting to come up scale. And they're showing a couple hundred pounds, maybe 500. Waiting for the light to come on. All right, there it just came on. All right. Release the pressure. Looks good. All right, let's cut it to length. Blow the rubber chips out of it. Oh, what do we have here? There's my boo-boo. You're all wet because you've been outside in the rain. You've been all wet. You just got groomed yesterday. Bathed and groomed at the kennel. What a good boy. You're all wet. Let's see if we can do something about that. Come here. Daddy, I like to get rubbed like this. That's why. That's my good boy. That's my good boy. Yeah. Oh, give me that paw. Yeah. There's my Butchie boy. Come here, Butchie. Come here, Butchie. Come here, Butchie. Come here. Yeah. Come here. He said, I don't care. Come here, Butchie. Oh, there's Brew Brew. Okay. Good boys. Oh, there's Butchie. Come here. Butchie, 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 Butchie. Yeah, that's my good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, my good boy. My wet puppy. All wet. All right, it's the last one right now. I need another, go get another fitting to do the other one, the other 90. Maybe I can just use a straight fitting here. We'll see. All right, got so I'm pumping until I see the gauge come upscale. It should be coming upscale now, but it's not. It doesn't until the very end, and it only comes up to about 500 psi. I don't know if that's correct or not. Seems like it would. That's the relief valve squeaking. There's the light just came on back here. All right, that looks good. All right, one last hose here. I did finally get the correct fitting here. All right, light came on back there. Nothing like burning rubber. All right, I think that's all the hoses for initial test here, the hydraulics. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up this episode. Steering, as you can see, clearly worked great. And 50-50 chance of getting the hoses on the right side of the cylinder because I didn't mark the right and left turn ports on the steering valve, but got it straight the first time. There you go, a little bit of luck there. And even with the tractor not moving, just sitting on the floor here, it had no problem steering even at idle. It was just pushing the tractor back and forth. So one cylinder is going to be plenty to do the steering, I believe. Okay, so we'll come back next time. I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I got something I need to adjust. I need to adjust the sensitivity of the speed control. If you saw it moving really easily with a small movement of the speed control, changed the direction of speed quite a bit. So I need to work on that. So I either have to do some kind of a counter lever or something to reduce the travel of the control lever or increase the travel of the actual control, speed control on the dash relative to the movement of the trunnion. So I need to make that adjustment on, and I may be able to I may put the control plates back on. The control plates, they call them cam, I guess it's a cam plate, changes the trunnion movement very little for more movement of the speed handle. So I might retrofit those. I'll look at that. There may be some other way to do it. A separate lever which is set so it moves less for same amount of movement of the speed control on the dash. So a couple different ways to fix that. So we may come back next week working on that. I'd like to put some foot pegs on it, stand on it, and drive it around. I don't know. A little hesitant to do that without, maybe I can jury rig a seat of some sort. So that's where we are. We'll leave it off here and come back next week continuing to make progress on it. So far, steering works great. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Appreciate the comments. We'll see you next week.